All right, welcome to the live stream for the channel, take two. I'm going to put in this microphone. If anybody's there, let me know if you can hear me. I'll just go ahead and talk like as if you can hear me. Hopefully this is working. So this is now 11:11 on March 7th, 2021. And this live stream is going to be covering the astrology of this week from today through the 14th. So I'm going to have some charts available, and then if you're plugged into our school site, you'll be able to look at those charts. And hopefully, if you're in the school, in Mystic Source School, we're going through and teaching you guys how to read charts and how to understand what the basic setup of what it looks like and what the things represent. I'm going to talk to you like you don't know, so don't be offended if you do. Most people really don't. So let's start off by first, let's get grounded. So I always like to start anything that I do with just a little moment of calling in sacred space, taking some breaths, and we'll just do a really short and easy grounding technique that you can do anytime to help you feel grounded and at ease in your body. So let me know with a thumbs up or with we got a text box here. You can chat. Let me know if you can hear everything okay. All right. Make sure that's working. All right. So, yes. All right. So we got the chat working. I got that for sure. I know that's on. So get centered, sit down nice and comfortable wherever you're at. And if you're listening to this while you're on the run, you don't have to sit down. Just take a moment to focus on your breath. You're going to imagine that's your spine as your central channel. So when you inhale through the nose, you're imagining cosmic energy coming in. Its flow goes this direction. So your inhale goes down towards your pelvis. On your exhale, that energy from the pelvis comes back up and meets back up to this little passageway where your pineal gland is sitting like a chalice. All right, thank you. I got a thumbs up, so I guess you guys can hear. That's good. Okay, so on your inhale, you're bringing in cosmic energy. I imagine it coming like this swoop, coming down, inhaling all the way down to the pelvis. On your exhale, you're again swooping that energy from your pelvis, pulling that up. On your exhales, coming back up. Again, you're going to inhale, breathe down to the pelvis. On the exhale, swooping that energy up from the pelvis and rising that back up to this pineal gland, this little chalice where your first eye is. Now we're going to extend that. So imagining that this chalice is opening up to receive all of that cosmic energy. So this can be, we have Kailash here. It's bring your child to work day on Sundays for me. So we got Kailash over here. You might see his little hands popping in from time to time. And maybe we'll be lucky enough to have a cameo appearance. If he wants to come in here and say hi. Do you want to come say hi?
Hi.
Okay. So at any given moment, the cosmic alignments are giving gifts. Like we're able to tap into definitely sun and moon. Those are really close. We can actually see and feel that energy from the heat radiated from the sun, from that iridescent, eerie glow of the moon. You feel that. You get a visceral experience of that. Also, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, we can see them. So their impact is more great. It's like a greater impact. Then the outer planets also have an impact. It's just more at a subtle layer of our awareness, which that subtle layer isn't less. It's just a different layer of awareness. So when you're doing this breathing exercise, imagine that you're opening this space up to receive whatever cosmic gifts, blessings, insight, information, anything that you are ready to receive. I like to add that part in, whatever it is that I'm ready to receive, because sometimes there's things that are gifts that are for us. They are those gifts that are yours to have, but you maybe aren't quite ready yet. So it's like doing a liver cleanse before you've cleansed the colon. And so the liver cleanse comes through and bursts through all this debris, but your colon hasn't been prepared yet to process all of that. So it can be harmful. So it's like if you have a Uranus gift, so funny, Uranus, I'm talking about the liver. And so the gift of Uranus, which is like rapid, electrifying freedom and radical rebellion and unity vibration, but through oftentimes radical freedom. But you're not quite ready to hold that massive amount of energy that Uranus brings. It can be problematic. So it's up to you. It's your choice, because sometimes those, it has been called a Kundalini crisis. It has been called a spiritual awakening crisis. That's specific to the Uranus gifts that we have. It is part of our paradigm and something that we are available to connect with. And your choice. You can just ask for those to be given to you, whether you're ready or not. I personally, because I have experienced those gifts that I wasn't quite ready for, and it made for a very uncomfortable year, very uncomfortable frames of time, that maybe I could have found a more graceful way to receive those gifts. So that's a mini teaching within this teaching. So asking to receive the gifts that you are ready to receive. As you inhale now, bringing those cosmic gifts down through the central channel, breathing that all the way into your pelvis, all the way down to the perineum. Big inhale. Hold for just a second. This is called kumbhaka, and it's a hold, a retention that happens naturally when we're breathing with awareness. On the exhale, you're going to bring all that energy that's in the perineum, in the pelvis, up through the spine, and exhaling all of that back through this chalice, back up into the cosmos. Now, you also want to pay attention to the perineum, where you're going to imagine that part opening and grounding down into the earth, so that your spinal cord now has this chalice opening upward, and then you also have that perineum reaching downward, connecting with the earth. So as you're doing the inhale, the swoop of cosmic energy reaches down to the pelvis, the perineum, and beyond, grounding down into the earth. Then when you exhale, you're swooping that earth energy through your body and all the way up and out through the top. So in this way, this breathing pattern, your body becomes the rainbow bridge between heaven and earth. Your body is the earth. Okay, so I hope everybody feels grounded and centered now. I have the chart for today. So I want to go ahead and go through and talk about some of that with you. I didn't get a chance to read this usually I do these readings on Instagram every single morning. It takes me about an hour, just because sometimes there's things that I get really curious about. I want to know the mythology behind certain stars, so I'll go in and research that. It's kind of like a learning process for me, as well as sharing the information with other people. So I'll take the time to see, like, oh, Pluto's at 26 degrees Capricorn today. When was the last time Pluto was at 26 degrees Capricorn? And I'll go through history. And so that's an hour-long process that I usually do. I've done it for years on my Instagram channel. What you're going to get today, and for the channel, this program that you're on now, what you're going to get is going to be an overview of every single day of the week. So you kind of have an idea conceptually, because it really is just an idea until we're in the moment. Like during the day, when I read the astrology, I read it for 9 a.m. and I'm already in the feeling of it, and it's different in the day. What this is going to do is give you a kind of heads up. And if you know your chart, this can be really helpful to show you. Oh, you're not going to be able to see this so good here. Oh, there you go. So what you're going to be able to see as I read the chart of the day, you're going to see what areas are being impacted for you personally. So this paper that I have here is for the chart of the new moon. And I'm going to get to this just a little bit, maybe 30 minutes or so, 20 minutes, I'll get to this. You want to definitely hear about this new moon, because we have moon and sun at 23 degrees Pisces, right next to Neptune, right next to Venus, who's in the underworld phase of the Venus cycle right now. This new moon is going to be very impactful. So whenever you get a chance, look at your astrology chart, see what you have at 23 degrees of Pisces. Look at the house position, and then you're going to look at whatever other planets that you have within 10 degrees of that 23 Pisces, because this is going to be the area of life that is most impacted for you. For example, I'm just going to grab whatever chart I have here on top. I have this person who I read last. This person has Pisces, South Node, and Venus in her fourth house. So I'll show what that looks like here. By hiding, I'm going to hide their name. So here's Pisces. Here's her chart. This is the sky. This is for the day that I read it. So on what you're going to see is sun and moon at 23 degrees Pisces. That's going to be right in this area. You're going to look at what's being impacted on your chart. So for her, she's got Juno, North Node, and Venus all within 10 degrees. And this is happening in her fourth house, which has to do with fourth house. I think of as, I call it the home and roots. Fourth house is in opposition to the 10th house, 10th house being your career, your contribution to the world, how people who don't know you see you. So when you walk through your neighborhood, it's like people who recognize you, but they don't really know you. They're like, oh, there's Anjani. She's an astrologer and she does body work. Oh, that's Anjani and she's Kailash's mom and Jasmine and Dominic's mom. So they don't really know you, but they kind of they have an idea about who you are. Or if they don't even know that, they're like, oh, wow, here's this person. And it's that first feeling that they have. It also is related to your contribution to the world, AKA your career, whatever it is that you do, that is your service. The 10th house being in opposition to the fourth house. The fourth house is the opposite of that. This is your sanctuary. I think of this as, I call it the home and roots. And it extends beyond home and roots into the womb that you came from, the matrilineal line, the wombs that you come from, your ancestry, the land that you come from, and then bringing it up to more dense layers. It's your bed. It's your dream space. It's who you're sharing your bed with. It's your home. It's what you need to create sanctuary so that you can, not just so that, we all need sanctuary and a healing environment to retire to at the end of the day that is nourishing and providing nourishment, just like a womb. This is the womb that you have created, as well as those other deeper layers of womb. And then in opposition to the 10th house, the 10th house is how we're able to go out and serve and do our contribution to the world. But we need to have first this nourishment from the 4th house. So for this person's chart, this new moon is going to be impacting that whole process of how she is able to nourish, be in the womb. How is the health of her own womb, her own personal womb? And then new moon is, well, I thought we were going to start off reading the chart of today, but I guess we're starting with the new moon. It's Pisces season, so anything goes, and I'm just going to flow with it. New moon is the phase of complete surrender and darkness. A lot of people you'll find on Instagram are going to talk about the new moon as, oh, this is called the channel, and that's what's happening. Channeling. I have the chart for today. We will maybe get to it. I don't even know. So the new moon is the phase of darkness. This chart that I'm looking at, that we will definitely cover the new moon today. I promise you that. Because it is really important. This is when the sun and moon are exact. So we won't even see the moon because it is so close to sun. And with that closeness, just like Venus right now, we call in the underworld phase, it's a time of not doing, of being in a restful, receptive place. So when the moon is in that position close to the sun, it is a moment of complete surrender. In our menstrual cycle, the new moon is when we're bleeding. It's when it's a cleansing, detoxing, letting go. It can be painful at times. And the reason for that is because whatever took place in the previous cycle, the phases that we're in now, astrologically, this is the end of a moon cycle. We're already into the waning phase. And this phase is like letting go of what didn't come to fruition in your physical body. If you have a womb, if you're in that process, and if you don't have this happening physiologically, we all have it happening psychologically on soul level. In the physical form, this ending phase, we're releasing, we're letting go. I have the big black candle that's a 7-day candle to help with a releasing process of all the things that didn't come to fruition. Things that I also like, okay, I'm done with this. I want to get rid of these things. This is that phase. When we get to the sun and moon together, this is where there can be grief associated with this. Because in the body, if you were trying to conceive a child and you didn't, now the blood comes through to release whatever wasn't conceived of, whatever wasn't able to form structure and create a stable network of cells dividing in the human body. Whatever didn't do that, our body releases it. And sometimes when it did do that and something wasn't genetically, or chromosomes weren't aligned right, or the stars weren't aligned right, whatever the case may be, our body will release that. So new moon phase, no matter what you read on Google Astrology, it relates with the bleeding phase of our menstrual cycle. And it carries with it a signature of the deepest surrender, blood and cramps, letting go and breathing through it. This is not a time to set intentions. That's what I'm getting at. This is not the time to set intentions. This is the time to be in the darkness and to be with whatever grief that you're having, whatever processes that your body is going through. It's a dark phase. Then, as you get through that dark phase, astrologically, sun and moon are doing the same thing. It's a moment in time where things are being um, not dismantled. The dismantling happens in the days leading up to the new moon. But this is a time of like that. It's like a dark flow that washes away and moves out blocks, removes things. It's doing this anyway. In that dark rest, we're able to let our inner tide recede. So there's a receding that happens in our internal waters that washes things away. And the more we can just get out of the way and let the process happen. Now, when the light of the new crescent moon shines forth, then we get the download, we get the insight, we have more clarity on what it is that's next. The subtopic of this video is clarity, because I do have something I want to talk about on that also. So let's just go ahead and go with that. So clarity. This week on Instagram, I posted this really beautiful picture that's all like inspiring, but the word said, Pisces is the antidote to clarity. And the reason for that is because if you think that you have, okay, it's going to be like this. Like I woke up this morning, like with a brief, like a general outline of what I hope happens today. And then I'm also like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen today. Like I want to be in the flow of life. So I want to leave spaces for new pieces of information to come in and inform me on what are the best possible actions, and to let spirit actually really guide your life. You need to have this Piscean sense of like looking at the world underwater. Imagine doing that in the dark moon. You don't have clarity. There's not a keen, fiery perception. It's more of this bloop, bloop. I don't really know, but I am in the flow of the sea of cosmic consciousness. And I trust that it's, the tides are moving, and I trust my ability to act according to what is happening in the environment, what's happening in me and in the environment. And I'm trusting that flow. So Pisces being the antidote to clarity also helps us to know that we don't know. And there really is no way of knowing. Like the things that you're learning at Mystic Source School, if you're there, or through these courses on the channel, are tools and techniques that will help you be empowered to know that you're not completely just laying back, like watching life happen and just being at the total whims of the pull from other people. Pull, Pull, talking about all these watery things. So I want to make sure you know that it's not POO, but the pool of your kids and your partners, relationships with work and all of that. You don't want to be just pulled by this layer of interaction. You want to be in this way, like that breathing exercise that we just did, where you're breathing in that cosmic energy, you're grounding the earth, and you're consciously going with your heart, which is in the center between heaven and earth, is your heart, which is your now moment. Every single pump is present in the moment. And that's your intuition in this analogy. So it's fine to have that plan and to think that you have some sort of a control over, but in real-time reality, between heaven and earth, you really only have this now moment, which is the pump of your heart and what's happening in the environment. So I'm not going to give any more examples on that. I think because you live your life every day, and that's the reality. So clarity. So how can you have clarity if your pipes are clogged? this morning, first thing when I woke up, I was like, I'm going to do my birthday's tomorrow. My solar return is today at 2:05. And I was like, I'm going to do a coffee enema. I'm going to clean out the pipes and really do everything I can to be open to receive. I often do Sananga in my eyes, neti pot in my nose to clean out this whole chalice, this whole passageway to receive clear information. I clean my ears and do oil in my ears. This is an Ayurveda technique. So is the neti pot. Um, Sometimes I'll do this.